Welcome back, and welcome back again to another episode of Inspiration Valley. Inspiration Valley, what is it? It's hour-long speech where every time we interview a different person, usually living in California, so in the Silicon Valley, and we try to find some concepts, some ideas, some things that might get us inspired and tell us a little bit more about our future in general and our possible professional future as well. Right?
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you for the introduction. Absolutely. I'm very thrilled to announce this new talk with this super host. And I think I'm going to leave you the introductions.
Okay, thank you. The talk that we have today is going to be talking about reality viewed in many different ways, I guess. So mostly is the digital reality, so all the world of augmented reality, of extended reality, of any objective you want to use about reality. But the basic concept is the digital world and new technologies are helping us creating a new digital world and new elements of our physical world as well. So everything is connected. We have infinite possibilities. And I think today Leandro is gonna talk to us about all those possibilities and future.
Hello.
Hi, Leandro.
Hi, so how are you doing? Directly from Palo Alto, right?
Yes. 8 a.m., squirrel everywhere, sun that is rising.
Beautiful.
Typical morning in Palo Alto.
I think that a lot of people here are envying you so much right now. I'm one of those people, I have to admit. Yes,
Could be
definitely.
better, could be Sicily, and instead of that, we have just Palo Alto.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. Okay.
I'm gonna lead you to the talk, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you, Julia, introduce a little bit further Leandro, so giving back a little bit of his history and so on, and then I'll let you talk. I'll let you two talk and be back in around 50 minutes.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.
See you later, Michele.
Okay, so Leandro, I wanted to do a brief introduction of this awesome, let's say, topic that we have today, which is desirable futures, immersive experiences, and augmented reality. So technology is usually thought of as a menace for the human being. Because we see as if technology will limit us in some ways. But what we don't really understand is that really technology has always been there for us as human beings and throughout our evolution, from the invention, or at least, let's say invention of fire, to the invention of whole new realities called augmented or virtual realities. This is Leonardo Agrò, and I'm so very happy to talk with you about this amazing topic. So let's give everyone here a little bit of background of who you are and how you've become this innovator in augmented reality and immersive experiences.
Okay, what I can say, I could start from what I do right now. I'm the director for exponential technology in a company that is called Entity Disruption. Entity is like sort of giant in telecommunication industry. It's like more than 350,000 people around the world. Entity Disruption is a small entity that is working on, let's say, the very frontier of communication that includes also immersive technology and different way to augment spaces, basically with digital content. Walking backward, let's say I landed in this role, I landed in this place and in Palo Alto, let's say, following the development of and evolution of technologies mostly. So I'm a designer, but I design technology. I started with the internet, let's say, with the first browsers, with the early mobile phones, also participating to I don't know, the team that assembled the very first UX UI for the very first smartphone.
Wow.
And step by step, I focus on myself on eye tracking technology, on virtual assistant. So let's say the grandmother of Siri,
Yeah.
things like that. And later working on the IoT, augmented and virtual reality, industrial IoT, medical devices. So those are, you land those kind of job, not
Yeah.
in 1 week,
Yeah.
but let's say trying to follow the path of evolution of technology, and typically trying to move earlier than the moment in which the technology become like a mass market. So to me, the typical mission is to work to something that is in the very early years. So in this moment, for example, working on immersive technology could be considered early years,
Okay.
at least if you are not working on, let's say, VR with some kind of glasses, but you work mostly on immersive in space without any device, or you're working in augmented, so with a new generation of glasses. Those could be considered early years.
Okay, okay, thank you. And so just to begin with a common knowledge of every terminology that you are going to use, can you give us the difference between immersive experiences and augmented reality, and a bit of plethora or of all the technology and terminologies that are used in this field?
Giulia, I'm not good to do that, but it is basically for methodology that I would like to share with you guys, that is not focused on making the difference, but at the contrary, it is there to build some bridges and to try to unify the way in which we consider this new wave of technology. So instead to see this sort of casbah of different enablers, I would like that you think to the experience that you can have in life and learn how to describe it. Let me do a couple of examples. In these days, we might visit San Francisco together and walk to an exhibition that is immersive Van Gogh.
Wow.
How you can describe this kind of exhibition? Well, from the experience point of view, this is an experience that, for example, have a specific characteristic. You can walk inside. So it's not just digital, something that you can perceive through a screen. You can actually walk inside. It's not completely multisensorial because you don't touch, you don't feel any smell, but at least it is very good in your visual perception. You know, we are describing the experience and how much time we might spend inside. A couple of hours. So you are talking about immersive in the case of the exhibition, using a series of axes to describe how this experience work. And you're saying that this kind of experience, it might work 2 hours of your time. You don't need to wear any technology. It is very good on vision, but maybe you have lack of other senses. You can walk inside, and I said we can go together. So we have a co-presence in the physical world, regardless whatever happens in the digital world.
Okay.
At the contrary, we might meet virtually in Van Gogh experience on Second Life or metaverse or whatever, and you see how the axes that are describing the experience is completely different. So instead to make distinctions about the enablers and be confused by the technology that we are using, I would like to focus on the 7 axes that we might use to describe an experience, and maybe do the opposite, try to imagine which kind of experience we want to have, which purpose we want to fulfill, and later which kind of enablers we might use to reach that goal. That's a different approach.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's a designer approach. So I'm into it. I love this. It's very interesting. Okay, so how do you think that these immersive experiences can define desirable futures?
Well, actually, in many different ways. Let me do an old example and a very new one.
Okay.
I was a student in design in Domus Academy in Milan. It was in the previous millennium, in 97.
Okay.
And as students, we participated to a series of competitions. So student stuff, nothing particularly relevant, but those competitions were supported by companies like Sharp, Apple, MIT Media Labs. So for you, when you are a student, those kind of opportunities, of course, are just fabulous. And I participated to the MIT Media Lab one, and nothing happened.
Okay.
I was working a sort of augmented reality mask for scuba divers.
Oh. Okay.
It was too crazy, probably. Nobody followed it. And I did another project together with two other guys for the Apple design project that was about, let's say, all the libraries and the way in which augmented reality might help to engage and collaborate, let's say, content that are written in books that are so precious that it's also difficult to actually touch it. And so in this sense, augmented reality was used to create boundaries between peoples that were interested in a certain topic, regardless of where they were, using augmented reality to make visible and tangible something that is not so easy to handle.
Okay.
So to me, this is well, it's just an opinion, but let's say it's a good utilization of augmented reality. And again, I was just a student, it was a lot of years ago. And of course, it is the typical project that nobody cares.
No, we do care.
Yeah, but okay. From that to have augmented reality to see, for example, wings wearied by your friends while walking in the street, because we want to transform the physical world in a sort of nice metaverse in which people can become whatever they like. Well, it's fun, but let's say I feel less connection with the purpose of this kind of mission.
Okay.
However, it is just a generational problem. For example, two guys met each other 10 to 15 years each. And one guy said to the other, "Show me how you really looks like." He was talking about how he was like in Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Show me the real you. That was the avatar in Fortnite.
Okay.
So,
okay.
you see, it's a generational issue probably, but the purpose of the kind of technology that we are using could be perceived in a very different way. I like the idea that each of us have a sort of digital aura that could be shown in certain situation, and maybe just with a gesture can take the book that I like and show you. Maybe there are other utilization that I perceive, let's say, less useful. But maybe it's just me. Maybe having a fabulous snap camera effect all the time could be good. I'm using it. This is a snap camera.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
So I don't know if I answered, but let's say there are many things that we can do with technology. There are many ways in which technology might help. Of course, having some kind of very high objectives, or just building new gears and toys and things to have fun, well, could make the difference.
Wow. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope it will get us to the next evolution, right? Next step of evolution for humanity. Well, I think that's maybe another humongous topic that we could talk about. So let's just stick with immersive realities. So my next question is, everything you talked about resonates with the word, or with the phrase technology for good. And I know that you're a sustainer of this phrase, right? So what does it really mean, and how can we achieve this objective?
Again, I will use some examples. Of course, examples are not good to provide you the entire scenario, but might be useful to just start to walk into the situation and discover and explore which are the possibilities. Let's assume that tomorrow morning, new virtual reality devices like the Oculus become pretty common, and everyone is using it. This is a fantastic achievement, that's bring to us a series of opportunity, but also probably provide some boundaries between people that are completely comfortable with this kind of technology and wearing, let's say, these heavy things for hours and hours, and people that might have a different reaction just because maybe they're old or because they do not feel comfortable with living or staying too much time in this sort of alternative reality. They lose the connection with the people that maybe are side by side with them. So why we should not also attempt at least to create alternative ways to reach the same content? So a metaverse is a metaverse. The kind of device that you use to enter into this metaverse is secondary. So for example, one of the projects that we are working about are, let's say, immersive rooms in which you are in a space that, again, it's a room dimension, so you can walk in, you can walk together with other people, but what you see projected in the wall or through the screens that you have, it could be anything. So it could be also the metaverse that you have the opportunity to visit through an Oculus. So what means for good? Means that this kind of bridge maybe is not for everyone, but it's the kind of bridge that could engage and include people that could not, again, be comfortable with the other
Yes,
enabler.
of course.
So
of course.
this is just an example of for good, but of course you can do much more. An example of for good, talking about immersive, of course, technology could be create bridges that are like teleport, in which you can just transfer something that is happening in another place, whatever you like. So you might have a room.
Becca, are you talking about like transporting yourself?
You're transporting your image like we are doing here in video, but with the difference that if the whole room is immersive, feeling the difference between being like a small frame into a display and being projected human size, human scale, with all your room elsewhere, it makes the difference. And of course, you need some kind of enablers, including big screens or projectors. But we have the technology. You mean technology from a telecommunication company? We have this kind of technology that allow you to do that correctly, where correctly is with all the behaviors that allow you to use this technology for good. So you might have, I don't know, this talk or some high scientist talk or something that is relevant for the people that want to listen, transferred in any place, I don't know, Southern Italy, Africa, Milan, whatever, and give the feeling of presence in a completely different way than just being on Zoom, a small frame of the user interface.
Yeah, it's a completely different experience, of course. Yeah.
Actually is. And according to the way in which you replicate this experience elsewhere, the kind of collaboration and the kind of engagement that you might have is completely different.
Wow.
Let me do this very specific example.
Yeah.
Speaker Hay is on a giant stage in a theater, and he showed just one slide at the time. There is a very precise separation between him and the audience. Scene 2, the audience is invisible, connected on Zoom, and the speaker is elsewhere. And when he showed the slide, one slide at a time, his picture is super small.
Yeah.
Scene 3, you have locations that are replicating more or less the same kind of situation, and you have a small audience for each of those locations. I don't know, 20 people, and the space is like a room. In one of these rooms, you have the actual speaker, the other you have projections, but for the way in which the space is created, the speaker could show all the slide in the very same moment, and he walk between the slide.
Wow.
And the audience is completely immersed in the content. And not only you have this engagement that is completely different because your attention span it's very good, but also, I don't know, you say something now and 50 minutes later you are talking about another topic. What you said at the beginning, still there somewhere in the wall, projected, and so you, that are part of the audience, can recall in any moment
wow.
that content and reconnect it. So
Oh,
this is a
wow.
very theatrical way to use, let's say, immersivity. And regardless of the fact that the enablers in terms of technology might be old, might be new, but let's say just a mix, different mix of things that are existing, the way in which you use it is radically new. So the innovation is in the how, and in let's say just more than the what. So the what at the end of the day is high speed internet connectivity, orchestrator between different IoT objects and screens and projectors. It's not rocket science, but to do what?
Well, I mean, for us, maybe a little bit it is rocket science, but okay.
No, it's just, let's say it's something that is achievable.
Okay. That is actually something that I wanted to ask you later on, but since you've talked about it now, I'm going to ask you now. So how do you think that the what level have the technologies arrived at? I mean, is it possible for every kind of professionist to use some tools on to create augmented reality or immersive experiences, or is it something that is still relegated to professionals, like real professionals like you are? Like, I don't know if you...
No, it's technology. All the technologies in general are, let's say, behaving according to a series of waves of evolution in which, at a certain moment, the technology is becoming so consumer oriented that all the barriers in the utilization must be dismantled. So, if I say where we are with immersive, probably there are, let's say, at least two big sides of the coin. One is like creating immersive 3D content that are played in real time.
Wow.
And this is something that's still hard. So still needed professionals, people that come from the video games industry, from the movie industry, so those kind of things. Another side of the coin is pretty new. That is the one in which I'm more involved. That is how to provide superpowers to normal people that live their, let's say, work day in any potential company, any, let's say, PowerPoint-like creator, and how to enable them to make the new PowerPoint in an immersive way. And I would like to say that there are at least a couple of companies that are doing that, are working pretty well. And I'm leading a design team that is designing the authoring tool for immersive space. And actually, it is easy as well to use PowerPoint, and not talking about using macro or any kind of coding. It is just easier than using Photoshop, because PowerPoint is easier to use Photoshop. And the things that change is, for example, how you create a content considering the kind of device in which you deliver it. So let's say you might have instead in PowerPoint like the classic slide, the ratio and dimension. Maybe you have a multiple screen. That means that you have like multiple stage in which something happen is in a certain moment in time. And when you pass from the slide 1 to the slide 2 in the PowerPoint metaphor, you change snapping the finger in a different scenario. So let's assume that you have, like we have here in San Francisco, an office that is like in meters should be less than 2,000 meters square feet. And there are dozens of different screens and projections, and you want to transform it in a, I don't know, in a Starbucks. So with the logos, with the flavors, with the, you can smell actually the coffee smell, and you have images that recall that kind of brand. It's slide 1. and later with one click on your remote or your phone, you jump to the slide 2, and maybe it's completely different. Maybe it's, I don't know, you pick the brand that you like, Swarovski, and everything is shiny. You have, I don't know, augmented reality, low poly content that are going around. So why not? So it's absolutely possible. Doing this stuff like that is not so complex, but we are talking about showing mostly to the contents on the walls and on the screen using an orchestrator and authoring tool that looks like PowerPoint. It's
Okay.
different than, say, I want to walk in a fully 3D environment. I don't know, like an open board. And I would like to walk this space without wearing anything. Well, that's different.
So, but do you think that like creators will start using immersive experiences also? I don't know, this is something just that popped into my mind because it's really something that, you know, on social media for advertising and everything. Do you think that it's somewhere where this technology could go, like to sponsor e-commerces or brands on these platforms?
This is actually a very complex question because technologies have their own way to evolve.
Okay.
And of course, most of the success or the failure of each technology depends from how people will actually embrace those technologies.
Okay.
And if you have a view as a user of technology as something that is given, you cannot choose, you will just use whatever is available, like in a sort of trial and errors. Actually, this is again personal opinion. I hope that people will be good enough, that people will have let's say a good enough access to knowledge to make a guess and to have their own idea of a desirable future. So they choose to, let's say, marry some technology because they think that those technology are the better path to reach a desirable future and to achieve some kind of result. So it's, in a very simple example, you might decide if you like Star Wars or Star Trek.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I love Star Wars, but I don't want to live there.
Of course.
Maybe I feel that Star Trek is a little bit boring respect to Star Wars, but it's actually more desirable. So those are just two examples that anybody could get in terms of metaphor. But everything depends from the kind of technology that you buy when you go to the Amazon's website or to the store, because we do the future through the things that we buy.
Ooh, that's actually very true. And something that we should all ponder on, you know?
Well, if you, let me be very aggressive. If you buy Facebook, you get Trump.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And it's unfortunately true. So what do you think that are the most important aspects to create an immersive experience of success, like a successful immersive experience? What are the main things that you look out for?
Well, I will get the opportunity to say what I desire and not what I think, that are different. Because if you ask me like a forecast of who will win, the answer is A. But if you ask which kind of match you would like to watch, or which kind of quality in the game you want to see, this is different stuff. So I'm a big fan of augmented reality instead virtual, for the simple reason that you can have virtual for very good reason in certain situation, but I do not like the situation in which everything it is on virtual. That means that you are isolated and your sense are blinded. At the contrary, I would like to desire a situation in which your senses, your natural behavior are amplified, like with a superpower. And augmented reality can actually do that.
Yeah.
Making visible data and information that are not visualized with your eyes, or well, there is a book that is called Supersight from David Rose. David Rose is, to me, one of the, let's say, cornerstone in this augmented reality field. And he wrote something very interesting. So augmented reality could be leveraged, especially where you want to see something that is in dimension that are so different from your human scale that you need to empower your vision with something different. So for example, you want to see the super nano objects, or you want to see the galaxies. Your eye cannot allow you to do that. So why do not have some kind of help from technology? Or you might leverage augmented reality to see and perceive things that were happening in a completely different moment in time. So I can, I don't know, visit Pompeii, to make a very stupid example, and see life before the eruption. Or I can walk Rome and see different things that are happening at different moment in time, according to the whole evolution of the city for millennia. So those kind of things are, to me, technology for good, because are empowering the senses that the humans already have, and in terms of application are like preferring in some way things that makes us better people. Again, there are many other things that are stupid and fun that we like to do, but should not be the only available option. So I like to have, I don't know, wings or whatever, or wearing new glasses, snapping the finger, or having green eyes, whatever. But this should be not the only things that we do.
Do you think
Should
that
be something more than that?
Sorry, do you think that with augmented reality we could change physical aspects of ourselves?
Well, are you joking? This is obvious. Yes, it's will be.
Sorry. I'm sorry, but like permanently. Oh, okay, like this. Oh, like filters. Okay.
This is so basic. So it's not what I am, is what I project, and by consequence, what you see.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah, it's so true. I know that also augmented reality now is being tested for medical purposes, like to see the organs before you do an operation or something like that.
Well, there are many utilization, of course, that we might have. I don't feel that there are particular boundaries.
Oh, okay.
And later depends from, well, augmented reality is not developed by, I don't know, some kind of research and development ministry in a government. It's done by private companies. So if you work in the healthcare, you will find utilization and purpose that are compatible with your business model. If you work in the entertainment, you will find something else. So if I am Disney, I would like to have my, I don't know, C3PO walk in the room together with me and translating in real time things from other worlds. Why not? If I work in the healthcare field, probably I would like to have some kind of a companion that is taking care of my health status and, I don't know, inviting me to have a walk.
Wow.
Why not?
And do you think that the fact that it's more of a private, like it is used and it's being developed by private companies rather than the public administration, do you think that eventually the public administration will have the finance that they need to finance these kind of projects, or do you think that we will have to be dependent on private firms?
You should have to Neil Stephenson hands-on cyberpunk writer. I'm a designer and I work in doing technologies, and it's a question about futures, and it's very difficult to imagine. What we can do is like a snapshot of the reality as it is in this moment. So I could say that, I don't know, Apple, just to make an example, have enough money in cash to pay the debit of series of countries in Europe, or I don't know. It's like in the peel of Italy in revenues. So it's, on the other hand, we have the vaccines for COVID-19 because the government decided to invest. Not because a private company did everything with his own research money. So it depends. I feel that nothing is decided yet, but probably we will live for a couple of decades in a situation in which we have private players that are big enough to decide or to orient part of the future. We are talking about metaverse, not because it's relevant, let's say, right now, right here for each of us, but because Facebook decided to invest 10 billion by years for 10 years. That's the reality. Without this kind of enormous strength from just one single company, the challenge out there could be completely different.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, let's see what will happen, right?
Can I turn off my blue eyes? It's so uncomfortable.
Yes, of course. Of course. So
much better. I feel
definitely better. Yes. I'm not really a fan of filters, so yeah, definitely better. And this actually connects me to the next question, which is, how do you feel the relationship between man and technology? I mean, this kind of technology will change. For instance, we've seen how much the relationship has changed with, for example, filters, like on social media, that changes physical features. And that has changed a lot how we perceive technology, right? So how do you think it will change? Will it, I don't know, I'm leaving it open to you. I don't want to steer anything.
To be honest, I don't want to say too much on the fact that you can change how people, let's say, see you through the technology. But I feel the most important thing that we might comment, it is very close, is how you see the world through the technology that you can, let's say, you can use. Let me do an example.
Yeah.
There are many filters on Snapchat that allow you to, I don't know, wear a hat.
Yeah.
But you know how much in America, for example, in the last years, a red hat is become a symbol. So what if not only I can add a red hat to myself, but what if, because I'm wearing some kind of augmented reality lenses while walking into the street, I can add a red hat to anybody in the street. This is different because, my perception of reality is already biased through social media, given to your point, through the profiles and filters that the software like Snapchat or Facebook or Twitter or TikTok are creating around myself, so the echo chamber. But I still in the position in which I know that this reality that they see through a small screens in my phone or my computer is different from me. If I'm wearing sunglasses and I see the reality with my own eyes, and everyone in the street is wearing a red hat, my perception of reality is completely different. So I like the situation in which we might play with our, let's say, superficial exterior aspect in becoming an elf or an alien, even a blue skin or whatever, and this will affect our relation. But I feel this is like just the positive aspect or something that is dramatically dangerous, especially in time like the one where we are living, in which the society is completely divided. I mean, politically, between those that feel that the reality out there is black and the other that thinks that is white.
For sure,
because people are ready to fight for white or black, regardless it's true or not.
Yeah, that's true. And so what's the answer? What can we do?
No, we should just again be careful with what we buy at the supermarket. Do not believe to everything is written on the package.
Yeah.
and try to feed our ability to have like some kind of critical thinking. And so
which is what makes us human. So let's do that.
Yeah, well, this is a very strange moment in time because everyone wants to be individualist. And at the contrary, a lot of people are ready to follow whatever thinking comes, whatever kind of vision comes from certain people. So again, the guy with the red hat has his own special vision of the world. And instead to have an individual ability to be rational and understand which is the reality, a lot of people pretend just to walk the reality of someone else. And again, technology in this sense could be dangerous because it might empower a specific vision of the things. At the contrary, we should try to use the technology for the right purpose. And this is not depending from the enablers. Actually, this depends from the software, from the application. So, where augmented reality lends us to find the next Starbucks, that is fine. To see your wonderful blue eyes and red hair, whatever, or to wear my wings, or to put a red hat on top of any hat that I met. And this is the application, not the physical hardware enabler.
Okay, wow, that's really something to think about. And actually your talk about the enablers really opened my eyes, because I almost thought that, those were the ones that existed. So maybe possibly that's the only way to do things, but actually it is not. So
no,
that was
we are
very
here to
interesting.
design the future. And before designing the future, we should desire a specific future and address it. What people generally forgot is that you have the choice and the responsibility to do the things in a certain way.
Wow,
and this is something that also in the tech industry is flowing without any critical thinking. And so we are getting certain technology just because are possible, not because are positive or because anybody was thinking about the consequence. And it happened since the early stage in the invention of the fire. You invent the fire, you don't know if you can burn a forest or cook some food. But so in certain way is natural. The evolution of technology is still working in this way. On the other hand, because, well, you will know singularity, because the acceleration of technology, probably human being is not so able to digest and converge to the right direction in time. And that's why the technology in this moment, it is a little bit more dangerous than the past. But let's say it's not the first time. We invented the atomic bomb and we survived. So we will survive probably to the immersive technology or to the augmented reality glasses, I hope.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I hope so as well. And what do you think that are the most important professions right now that are maybe even looked for if in firms that are working on immersive experiences? Like, what are you looking for? Like, is it important to have empaths, or is it important to have somebody that really knows how to pick up a texture and make it look so real, that you are completely immersed? What are the most important things that you're looking for maybe if there's somebody here in the audience that wants to pursue a career in this field?
You remember that I mentioned the fact that we have like two sides of the reality of the coin, in which in one side everything is still very technical, and on the other side we are already in the moment in which we are able to use those enablers and communicate like was a PowerPoint. So the two kind of professional path that maybe I suggest because I need it while working are.
Oh, listen up, guys.
Okay, on one end are the super nerd, super expert on everything in 3D. So people that were born on game engines and are able to create so efficient open worlds that you can actually leverage it, I don't know, in a browser. So this is a very high level of democratization of the access to those kind of environment. And this is something that typically is interesting not only for people like us that are working on immersive technology, but for anybody is using AR, VR, video games, movie industry, all those bunch of opportunities that are huge in terms of, let's say, business and job opportunities, have this core at the center that is everything about 3D. And on the other side, for technology that are a little bit more, let's say, developed, probably what we need are like a more modern approach to certain traditional profession. Did you remember when I said if you are an healthcare company, you want to apply your technology, augmented reality on something that is resonating with your business? So instead to have, I don't know, the old lawyer, the old physician, the old chemist, why do not have like a new generation of this very traditional profession in which people have the knowledge to be a bridge between the new and the old? You can be a miner in space, you can be a chemist and be able to represent in augmented reality in big sites, making visible the invisible, the beauty of chemist. Or you might be, again, an healthcare professional and do other incredible things. So this other part, it is mostly focused on creating the right content, reaching the right audience, being part of the industry, not from elsewhere, from the inside, because this is the best way to spread the kind of opportunities in terms of real market.
Wow, very, very, very interesting. Okay, so I have my last question. So I'm talking to the audience. If you have any questions, please write them down. I'm sure our hosts will collect them. This is a big question, very big question. How do you become a futurist, like a thinker of the future?
Okay, I don't want to have any serious question, or any serious answer for that. I went to Stanford University.
I know that.
And I spent there a whole weekend, 2 times.
Wow.
Attending a course on how to think like a futurist.
Yes.
From Jenny McGonigal.
Tell us everything.
So it is almost a joke because you cannot become any kind of futurist in let's say 2 weekends. Yeah. But I was so engaged and I had so much fun in this how to think like a futurist let's say course that I should say to everyone that I'm a futurist. This is Stanford that is saying that, so it's real. Working 4 days of my life. No, by the way, I met a lot of incredible people in this class. People from Nintendo, very senior designer from Apple, Pinterest. I got some friends that I still talking with, and so this is like the magic of having Stanford and a walking distance. But again, I don't know if makes me a futurist. It was
you are designing our future, so you are, right?
No, and I think that I'm just an honest worker in the technology industry, like many that we have. And my message, because you mentioned at the beginning the fact that Palo Alto looks so glorious from outside. I don't met a genius every day in just walking the street or going to the grocery, and I don't feel that everyone here is special. I feel just that there are, let's say, people that are doing what they can in order to achieve a common goal. Common, it's important, and the goal is typically very well defined. So we know where we are going. So if you ask me what is the difference, for example, with my previous career in Italy, is the goal was A, but also B, but also C, maybe D.
Okay.
And not everyone was working with the same goal. And maybe not everyone was, I don't want to say completely honest in what he's doing, but let's say, when people have different agendas, you do not have the time here to fulfill a different agendas.
Okay.
It's impossible. You have to
You
do
have
just
common
one
goal.
thing, doing it at the best that you can, and contribute. If you don't like the mission, if you don't like the goal, just switch to another company.
Yeah.
But you can do just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Very, very focused on the goal. That's it. And in this way, the promise of I don't know, fortunate middle class might be sometime achieved.
Okay. Well, thank you, Leandro, for this amazing talk. It was really surprising and full of knowledge that I previously didn't have. So thank you for that. I invite our host back. If there is anyone that has any questions, please bring them forward. I think we have still a few minutes left. So,
yeah. Here I am back.
Welcome back.
Hello again.
Well, Leandro and Giulia, thank you very much, because I think that you had a really nice conversation and you walked us through this really complex world in a really easy way. So thank you both for being here and talking to us about this future, this fantastic thing which the technology is giving us. So thank you. And also there are comments coming up. So this is Paolo that we all know about.
Paolo.
Ciao Paolo, grazie.
So I'm not seeing any other comments or any other questions coming on, but I want to thank you both for being here and for these incredible 50 minutes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you soon, maybe in person next time. Maybe we can go all to Palo Alto.
Oh, yes. I'm ready.
Public is ready, so.
Yes.
I'm sure the Silicon Valley Study Tour will take us to Palo Alto if we have
looking forward to see you guys here. That means also that the normality could be restored.
Yeah.
And so it's actually, I guess, I'm looking forward the moment in which Paolo and all of you will be again walking here, and I don't know, met incredible people. Sometime I also met new people through Silicon Valley Study Tour. So why not to start to have this kind of cross-pollination? And I will be happy to invite you at the Entity Zone in San Francisco to see with your own eyes and walk with your feet this new immersive opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, and see you soon.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye to everyone.
Bye.